Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. It's another SaturnCI day. I'll share my screen and get us started. So if I get a test running here, I'll show you what we're working on today. Um, Recently, I implemented this counter so that it kind of feels like something is happening while the tests are running, or rather while you're waiting for something to happen. Because right now there is a virtual machine on DigitalOcean that is working on coming into existence and being ready for our tests to be run on it. But there's nothing going on that is visible to us. So we just have to see this blank screen. So I added this timer so you can feel like something's happening. And I added this quote so that you can enrich yourself while you're sitting here and waiting. And nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. So you can ponder that one for 60 to 90 seconds until your logs start coming through. Um, and then once the logs do start coming through, we will be able to see the thing that I want to work on today, which is that the logs from the virtual machine, which I call the job machine because it runs one job at a time, um, the logs come through in this area here and they stream in real time. But there's a problem, and this is great timing. We'll see the problem right now. So content is being added to the bottom of the logs, but we stay stuck right here. If we want to see the most recent stuff, we have to manually scroll down. And that's obviously not the way it should be. It should automatically keep us stuck to the bottom so that we're seeing the most recent stuff. So we kind of have to reverse the way that this scrolling works. Instead of being default top, it should be default bottom. Welcome, Nelson. Okay. So I have a test here that I started writing last time. So I'll bring this up and kind of give an explanation of what it is, and then we'll continue writing it. Um, I'll explain really briefly, Nelson, for your benefit. Oh, maybe after you come back from wherever you're going. Okay. So this is a test about scrolling. Um, we create a job with some system log content, 500 lines that each just say line, and then the bottommost line just says bottom. Um, and what we want to do is visit this job, and then we want to assert that this line that says bottom is visible on the page. And a chat message just came through. Oh, Nelson, you don't have a mic today. Okay. Um, well, I'll just real quick catch you up, Nelson, because it'll take like 5 seconds to explain. Um, what I'm working on today is making it so that instead of being stuck to the top, this scroll pane is stuck to the bottom so that as new log content streams in, we automatically see it and we don't have to scroll. So here we want to assert that bottom is visible. And I'll change this. I'll say bottom line so that it's kind of more clear that it's the bottom line. Um, but we can't just do this. We can't just say expect page to have content bottom line because unless I'm quite mistaken, that will just pass. It'll pass because the page does have this content. It just happens not to be visible. Yeah, see that test passed. And so we have to do something different. And based on my little bit of research I did last time, um, we have to do something, we have to do some kind of nasty stuff. So let's get into that.
Hey Jason, I watched the last episode where you were tackling this.
Hmm.
Um, and I think you were on the right track. You're doing the has text visible,
Hmm.
but and I'm guessing here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you had one chunk for your entire text that was the whole scroll area,
Uh-huh.
which means that was one DOM node
Okay.
that was all 501 lines long. So it was checking for the visibility of that DOM node, which was the
Oh.
whole entire thing.
Hmm.
So this is a bad solution, but if you were to break that up and put each line into a div, um,
I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world.
well, that's gonna. There's a few questions about how you would break that up and stuff like that, but I think that's kind of where you'd be heading in that type of a direction. So if
Yeah,
that's the case, and I think I'm guessing here that your follow up next test is going to be it stays at the bottom when new stuff streams in.
I suppose so, yeah.
You're probably going to be breaking it up in some way at some point as well.
Well, let's take a look at where this comes out. System log HTML. Okay, so we have ANSI to HTML job.system log. So let's look at what ANSI to HTML looks like. Um, so when you said div, Jonathan, I was actually maybe thinking span that might be less disruptive to us. So let's see what we can do. Um, escape HTML ANSI string. Okay, so this is like escaping the entire string. I'm just gonna do this. Um, oh, and by the way, is there a test for this? Oh, shame on me, there's not. But maybe that's not actually a big deal. Okay, how can I make this so that it wraps every single line signified by line breaks in a span? Okay, whenever it does this, which response do you prefer one? I like never have a strong preference. My only wish is that would they would is that they would give me just one response. Um, okay, what the heck is going on? Split. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, okay, so this is just an experiment. Who cares if the code is good or if it has tests or anything? So let's just give this a try because who knows if this will even work. If it does work, then we can do some cleanup.
We can practice the refactoring side of things.
Yeah. Okay. So refresh. It looks the same. And now it looks as though every line is spanified. Um, okay. I don't remember if this is the right way to do it or not.
I think it was expect page to have text visible, symbol visible, and then bottom line.
Hmm. Well, that is sad. Um, and just to make sure we're not crazy, let's do this. Yeah. So it is in fact not visible. I mean, we can't see it. Okay. My test is giving a false positive. In the browser, I have to the line bottom line is hidden and I have to scroll down to see it, but the test passes anyway. You can use Java. Interesting. Hmm. Okay.
It might be worth just to confirm our suspicion is correct. Actually, just remove bottom line from that where you create it, so it's definitely not in on the page at all.
Okay. Kind of to test the validity of our test.
Yeah, just a sanity check.
Mhm.
If it still passes, then we know we're in trouble.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. That fails.
Well, that's good at least.
And actually, another sanity check occurred to me, which is let's make sure that these things are actually appearing in spans like we think they are. And they are. According to our sanity check, we are sane.
One last thing, maybe as a just a random guess.
Yeah.
Uh, Change back to switch it to being divs. I
Yeah.
don't.
Still passes.
All right.
Let me know if you got any more bright ideas.
I'm reading the documentation.
Okay. Yeah, it totally misses the point. You're missing the point. Um, I want. Oh, wait. Yeah, yeah. I want to assert that the bottom line is visible without scrolling. But since I haven't written that behavior yet, I want the test to fail. My goodness. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Well, this is insane. Ensure the bottom line is visible within the viewport without scrolling. I don't understand. If we have this, why do we need this? But I'm gonna grab this first. That still passes, so that's useless. Let's see how this behaves. Okay, what's this? Failed to execute, not a valid selector. Okay. Okay, well, that should be easy enough to address. Um, that is like kind of a lot of JavaScript Spread the JavaScript across multiple lines so I can read it more easily. Okay, interesting. Hmm. I'm going to ask this just because it's often worth a shot. Is there a simpler way? It's always amusing. It's like, is there a simpler way than what you just suggested? Yeah, there is. I don't know why I didn't just suggest it in the first place. Also, I don't think this is simpler. No, this is clearly more complicated. Okay.
So small update.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're crossing some terminology issues here.
Okay.
Um, when it says visible, it looks like it's actually saying whether it's like display none.
Mm.
So that would be invisible. So we're actually not checking whether it's visibly present on the current screen. So stuff is most of the stuff with Capybara, when we were talking about visible, we actually mean like is displayed somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's why it's jumping into the JavaScript world, because it's actually getting the location of the DOM node and then saying, is it inside of the screen's bounding box? Which I'm
Yeah.
looking for if Capybara has like a native on screen type thing, which it looks so far like it doesn't, which is why we're going to have to do something like this.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna run this and I expect that same error that I got last time. Yeah, I remember I had to wrestle with some similar stuff in this other test I wrote. Whoops. Okay, navigation stickiness. Okay, so I had some script execution in this other test. It did different stuff. Oh yeah, I remember that I had to put it inside of a self-invoking function. So I guess let's do that. Yeah, I guess they call that an immediately invoking function expression. Okay, expected truthy value got nil. Okay, well, it is supposed to fail. I don't know if nil is the right failure value. Let's see. What do you make of this? Okay, it says it's missing return. Okay, so I'm less than 100% sure that this is right. Oh, you know what? You know how we can test this? We can just put bottom line like at the top and see if it passes. Okay. Okay. Well, I now believe that this test is valid. I also believe that it's a nasty mess, but we can deal with that in the future. Also, presumably, we can do away with this change. Let me make sure that I'm right about that. No, I'm not right about that. Interesting. And does it work with spans? It does, but it also works with divs, and maybe that's better because it seems simpler to have a div rather than spans and BRs. But does it show, does it display correctly when it's a div? It does. Okay. I'm fine with that. Okay. So now we have to make it so that it sticks to the bottom. Okay. So now let's go to the system logs page here. And we have to make it somehow so it sticks to the bottom. Also, where does this get included from? Um, okay, build details content container. Is that what this is? Okay, that's build details content container. This is build details content. By the way, I'm not sure I love that name. It's a content container. Seems a little redundant. Um, anyway, job info container. Okay, and I think the job info container is the thing that's actually getting scrolled. Um, just as a test on the JS console, how can I force an element to scroll to the bottom? Okay, so I want to change dot selector, of course, to, I wish I remembered what it was, job info container. Okay, that did not work. What if I just do something like this? Um, oops. Whoa, does it highlight it? That's pretty cool. Um, if I just do like 100. No, that does not work. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Okay. Scroll top doesn't seem to work. Could be because the element isn't scrollable. I can believe that. Okay, let's see if we can confirm or deny that it is. Okay, it says overflow auto, but this build details content container says overflow Y auto. Let's try that. Build details content container. Okay, that did work. So apparently that's what we have to do. Okay. And what's the simplest thing we could possibly do to make this work? Maybe we can just do this. Okay. And I'm just going to test this manually and see what happens. Wow, it works. Okay. Um, let's run this test and see what happens. Okay. Let's look at the diff of this whole change. As ChatGPT sometimes does, it puts some white space in there for no reason. So let's fix that. I didn't get it. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. Well, a lot of these things kind of suck, but I think they're below the threshold of what I would feel inclined to refactor. Um, I am going to commit this. Add, uh, make it so system logs automatically scroll to bottom. Okay. Um, and here's what I think will happen. It loaded this page and it said, okay, here's this element. Let's scroll it to the bottom. And it is now scrolled to the bottom. But scrolling to the bottom doesn't mean much because there's hardly anything in here. The bottom and the top are the same thing. And so content is going to come in, and as new content comes in, we're just going to see the exact same behavior. It's not going to scroll. And so nothing will have been accomplished. So I think
But
our
if you refresh halfway through the build, it will start jumped down to the bottom.
that's a good point. So I guess the exercise we just went through is worth more than nothing, just not much more than nothing. But it can be a good stepping stone.
It
So
gives
how
you
about
most of the
now?
work for because there'll be the you'll want to with each chunk that comes in. So if you refresh now, it's gonna
Whoa,
do this.
look, it actually works though.
That's so are you streaming this in with like a turbo broadcast?
Um, yeah,
So you're getting that inline script is running.
that is interesting. Wow. Um, I'm such a great programmer that I had subconscious clairvoyance. That's amazing. Sometimes I impress myself. Okay. Well, this is like fun to watch. Um,
Now, if you scroll up a little bit, it's going to keep pushing you down to the bottom.
yeah.
So if you're looking for a feature to add, this should only scroll you down if the previous chunk was already at the bottom.
Yeah, that's true.
So it'd be sticky, not forced.
Right. Um, that is definitely the way it should work and the way that I intend for it ultimately to work. I am yet to decide whether I want that to be the next thing that I do.
A lot of mucky JavaScript to get that working right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the crude simplicity of what we have now. Um, Okay, there's something I've been wanting to do for a long time because it just bugs me aesthetically. See how, okay, we have these tabs, system logs, events, blah, blah, blah. And we have job one and job two. The the job one and job two tabs, like the job one tab, it's like it doesn't have any margin between what the fuck am I trying to say? I don't like how this text is like right up against the thing. Maybe after I implement the change, I'll be able to articulate what I'm talking about. Okay. Um, let's see. I think I just want to add some padding to the top of this thing here. Okay. Yeah. So I think on build details content container, can I do this? Padding top 20 pixels. No, that doesn't do it because when you scroll, it's not there. Um, Maybe I wanted to be on the bottom of this thing. Hmm. No, because then it's just going to be the same color. Any suggestions on how to basically I want a strip of blackness.
Do a border bottom.
Oh yeah. Um, should I do a border bottom on this or should I do a border top on this?
If you're scrolled halfway up, would you still want to have that 10 pixel bar? Then I
Yes.
then I probably put a border bottom.
Yeah, I guess you have to, huh? Do I not know how to do a border?
Do you have to put the solid in there? And
Oh
pixel
yeah.
solid.
Man, I do so little CSS these days. Okay, that is good, but it's maybe not as much as I want. Maybe I want 20.
And I think you put 20 on the scrolling area as well. So it's going to have a bigger top.
It's gonna have a, oh yeah. Okay, let's do this for real now that we know how to do it. Um, what the, oh yeah. Whoops. App assets style sheets. Okay. Okay, and it was a job. No, was it job info container? Yeah, job menu container. Okay. Okay, border bottom. I'm gonna do 15 pixels. Um, 15 pixels solid black. Okay. Okay. Um, I think that is fine. I'm gonna get a new one going because I kind of want to see what it looks like in motion. This kind of looks like too much space, but maybe that's just because I'm not used to looking at it. Okay. So the other thing I want to address, I think a couple things actually. Okay, so I have a vague memory of a bug where I'm going to do it like this actually. I'm going to create a new build. And if my memory is correct, there's a bug where the system log content will never start coming in. You have to do a page refresh in order for it to start. So let's see if I'm right about that. And the other issue is that in the test output, this isn't going to stick to the bottom because we've addressed system logs, but we haven't addressed test output. Oh, now we get to watch this, which is just so satisfying. By the way, we saw another little bug, which is when the content first starts to come in, we see that like ugly scroll bar creeping down the page. That obviously should be fixed. Um, let's see. Okay, I'm maybe trying to think about too many things at once, but I'm trying to pay attention to this because I want to see if this is a real bug where the content doesn't start showing up there. Um, let's refresh the page and go to system logs. Yeah, we can see that it's not showing up here. Okay, so that's definitely a bug. And then another issue is that this test output will not stick to the bottom. And I think we should be able to see this test output pretty soon. It's like the tests run in like the last 30 seconds of the build, and everything before that is just prep. I tend to try to optimize that too, but I feel like that's maybe premature at this point. I figure if people start using this, they won't be super sensitive to the build time. Okay, we're still waiting. Sometimes it takes as much as like 4 minutes, so it's not terribly shocking that we're not seeing anything yet. And here's a question for us. Should all these things stick to the bottom? I don't think that really makes sense. I think only system logs and test output should stick to the bottom. Okay, I kind of would expect to have seen some test output coming through by this point, but apparently it's just not there yet. Let's see what the system logs say. It kind of seems stuck. Let's see if I can see what's going on. Oh, I'll look at the events. Oh, no, it's genuinely not running the tests yet. Oh, just for job one. For job two, the tests are apparently finished. And yeah, you can see that it's not scrolling us to the bottom. This is interesting. Why is job one having a problem? I don't know, and maybe that's not a profitable question to get to the bottom of. Um, okay. I am going to, let's see. Let's address this test output thing first, just because that's so similar to the thing we just did, and I think that'll be relatively easy to address. Okay, so this is streaming system logs. Zoom thing is in the way. Scrolling spec. Okay. So how about let's create a new test that's called not system log scrolling spec, but test output. Uh-oh. I think maybe we don't have the folder that we need for this. Yeah. Okay, test output system. Okay. Can we save this now? Whoops. Okay, I think we can. I'm just gonna copy this. Oh, weird. Okay, I'm gonna go out of this. Spec, streaming, test output, system screening spec. Okay. Okay, now it's looking good. Okay. To be more clear, I'm going to say system logs scrolling. And here I will say test output scrolling. Test output. And this stuff can just be the same. It doesn't really matter. Okay. And we don't want to go to system logs. We want to go to test output. I expect this test will fail. And it did in fact fail. Can probably make it pass by doing this. Okay, and let's check it in the browser. Oh, let me scroll to the top so I know that something's happening. Yep. Okay, so that's great, except we have some duplication. So we'll address that. I'm going to commit this first, though. Get test output scrolling working. Okay, and there's two kinds of duplication that I'm concerned with. One is the duplication in the test, and the other is the duplication between system logs and test output. Okay. So you'll notice that both of these are wrapped in this terminal output block. I'm curious, are all of these? So I have four tabs. We saw system logs and test output. What about events and test report? Okay. So test report is terminal output, but events is not. So we can ignore events. This test report thing, I'm fine if it scrolls to the bottom too. I don't really care which way we go with that. So let's just do this. Let's look at where this terminal output method is defined. So we have this terminal output um, method here in this helper. Let's see. And so we could put the script in here, but this is already like not all that easy to understand. I don't know if I want to burden myself with more crap. Um, what's the other option? Okay, so we're scrolling build details content container to the bottom. We could obviously do some kind of stimulus controller or something like that. Maybe that's the way to go. Okay. So to this, we can add a stimulus controller. So not sure how to do this. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how would I give this a stimulus controller called something like, okay, so this is job info container. Oh, hang on. This is info container, but we're scrolling build details content container. We might be getting to the point where my poor naming is so painful that cleaning up the naming is called for. By the way, I have become kind of a non-fan of the metaphor of technical debt. I prefer instead to think about sharp and dull blades. And I think what we're encountering right now is a dull blade. My naming in this area is hard to understand. It's a dull blade. We're finding it hard to cut with. And so what I find myself wanting to do is sharpen this blade so we can cut with it more quickly. Okay, so let's see where this build details content container thing is defined. Okay, it looks like here. I'm going to close all my other tabs. Okay, so we have this build details content container, and this might have been named back when there was no such thing as jobs. I only had builds in the beginning. So maybe let's name this something better. And I want to kind of name it in the context of the other things. So we have build details, and that's appropriately named, I think, because this whole thing is a build. It's not just one job. We have build navigation, that's appropriate. Job menu container, that I suppose is appropriate. Here we have job menu. And here we have build details content container. And I think that's not appropriate because this is not a build, this is a job. Then we have build details content. Sorry, I'm going to go to system logs for whatever reason I feel like I want to go there. Okay. Build details content, job info container. Then we have our terminal stuff. Okay. Why is this called job info container and not just job info? And what's the difference between build details and job info? I think I have some conceptual sloppiness here. A lot of times when you have confusing names, it's not exactly that you have bad names, it's that you have conceptual sloppiness. And here I definitely have some conceptual sloppiness, and my bad names are downstream of my conceptual sloppiness. So let's get conceptually tidy. Okay, so for this stuff, do I want to call it job info? Is that the best name this can have? I suppose it's fine. Okay, so that's the job info. And then this is really a distinction without a difference. This is just this is like this only exists for the turbo stream. So let's see. If I go to if I go to this terminal output thing, that's where the job info container stuff is. So we have this turbo stream and the job info container stuff is in there. So I guess first let's rename the turbo stream stuff. And you know what? This class is called job output stream. Here's a crazy idea. Why don't we call this job output stream? There. That is so much better. And now we can make an inference based on the ID of this div that it's a turbo stream. Okay. And I am going to commit just this, and I'm even going to do it on a separate branch because I want to see if my tests pass before I commit this to main. Okay. But I'm actually going to cheat out of impatience and I'm just going to run the tests locally. It's getting kind of got stuck on one for whatever reason. Man, my test suite is not so quick as it used to be. Okay, everything's good. So I will in fact merge that to main. Git merge squash job turbo stream, even though it's just one commit. Okay. Um, so we've renamed that. Now again, we'll go to an old one. And I'll look at the names of the various things in here. Okay, so from the inside out, we have terminal, job info container, job output stream. Okay. And here, what the heck is this? Is there just, is there, okay, sorry, I got disoriented. Okay, this build details content container. Is there one per build or is there one per job? Because I think that makes a difference for the name. Let's take a look. Okay, it looks like there's one per job. Yeah, this is the job show page. Yeah, okay. So, and what is this nested directly inside of? It's nested inside of build details. What if we just call it job details? Okay, the old name is build details content container. I want to remember that. Okay, job details, build details content container. Where is it still referenced? Um, okay. Whoops. Okay, so we can change this from build details content container, build details content container to job container. Okay. Okay. Um, and what I see now is that the scrolling is no longer working. Don't know why. Let's take a quick peek. Wait, job menu? Okay, job details. Uh-huh. Okay. I do not understand why this is not working. Let's see if we can do this manually. I see what's maybe a clue here. Yeah, so that doesn't work. And it says here cannot read properties of null reading scroll height. So something about what I just did must have messed something up. Okay, so I'm going to open up jobs show. That's not what I meant to do. Jobs show the partial. Okay. So I changed this from what it was to job details. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do get checkout dot, put everything back how it was. Will it work again? Yes, it does. Okay. And then if I do a search replace of everything, now it works. Okay. Maybe I made some kind of typo or something. Yeah, I really don't know what I did. Job details, job container. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to call it job container. Okay, I did make a typo. Job details, details, details. Okay. Now, in a normal production scenario, I would make a new branch and all that. But again, out of laziness, I'm just going to run the tests locally because I can afford to on this project because it only takes 25 seconds. And something actually fails. Not terribly shocking. Okay, this is zoom things in the way. Build navigation stickiness. Yeah, so let's just do the same search replace, except let's give it the right name. Okay. And I'm just going to go on faith that all the tests pass now. Build details content container. Rename build details content container to job details. Such a better name. Okay. Okay. And now I think we can address the issue where a build system logs won't start showing up until after you refresh the page. So let's think about how to write that test. First of all, where do we put it? I think this goes in spec streaming. By the way, there's a lot of tests in streaming. It's kind of crazy how many we need. Um, but okay, what do we have so far? We have test output spec, scrolling, staying on system log tab, visiting different build, visiting different job, visiting different tab. I think we just want staying on system log tab, maybe. Okay. I'm going to wrap up shortly here because we've been on for about an hour. Okay, so how does this operate? First, it creates the job, then it visits the path for that job. And to reproduce the bug, okay, so the logs have come through here. Oh, the logs have come through here. Let's see. How do we reproduce the bug? Rerun, and then go to system logs. Yeah, I think that's how we reproduce it. So I bet if I in a different tab go straight to system logs, I bet this one will work, and I bet this one won't. And this one is irrelevant now. Okay. So again, I bet this one will work because we went straight to system logs, and this one won't because we didn't. We went to test output and then we navigated to system logs. So actually, I think we want a new test, which is called starting. No, 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 no. Navigating from test output tab. So I'll change this navigating from test output tab. Oh, and see, the system log content is coming through here, but it's not coming through here. So I believe that indeed is the bug. Okay, so how do we reproduce it? We don't go to system logs, we go to test output. And we don't need anything in the system logs because we don't care about that. So we'll just create a job. We don't care about this. Okay, this stuff is kind of relevant. This stuff is not relevant. Okay, so let's give this a good description. Um, navigating to the system logs tab. I think we can get rid of that. And we can get rid of this. Okay, so here, again, we're starting on the test output tab. And then we navigate to the system logs tab. Okay, so we have to add a step where we navigate to the system logs tab. Oops. I don't remember how to do that, but we have other tests that do that. Navigating, build navigation. What? Okay, hang on. I confused myself. Oh, visit. Okay. Visiting different job. Okay. Okay. Navigate to job tab. Other job. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what helpers we have in this area. Navigate to build tab. Okay. Um, this is what we want. Navigate to build tab. Or do we want navigate to, yeah, we want navigate to build tab. Okay. Navigate to build tab. And we can see this one's kind of messed up. It has system logs hard coded here. Um, let's not do that. So, first of all, where is this used? It's only used in this one. Okay. Okay. So let's get this from the slug. Maybe we can do that. And then here we can do job.send tab slug. Okay. Let's see if I did that right. In the meantime, these things are all finished. Okay. Okay, this fails, not too surprisingly. Oh, we don't want humanize, we want titleize. Okay, great. Now here we can do navigate to build tab, system logs. And the job is just the same job. We give it some new system log content. Yes. Okay. So I expect this test to fail. And I forgot to include the helpers. Okay. Okay. And we expected to find this text new system log content, but we didn't. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. And next time we pick up, this will serve as a reminder of what we need to do next. And I'm just going to bask in my accomplishment here. I feel like it would be nice to hang on. When okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I click on any of these builds, it puts me on the test output tab, just like always. Excuse me. But now we see that we're at the bottom here. And this might actually help one other thing. See, we have this failed build here. Click on that. Oh, okay. Well, what is kind of nice about this is instead of being put at the top and I have to manually scroll down, now when I go here, I am presented with the failure, which is obviously what I'm interested in. And what I want to do is I want to make it smarter so that when you go here, it just takes you to the job that failed and shows you this. Okay. So we're going to sign off very soon, but I just want to do a couple things. I want to assess what we've done today. I want to recap what we've done today. And then I want to think a little bit about what we want to do next, other than just that bug fix that we wrote a test for. What did we do today? We made the system logs stick to the bottom so that as the system logs stream, we see the streamed output. I'm going to get another one going just because it's so satisfying to watch. We made that stick to the bottom, and then we did the same thing for the test output. We also added this little bit of space, or what looks like space, so that we can see that this tab really is a tab. Did we do anything else? I think that was all right. Yeah, so what next? And I'm open to comments on this, but what do I want to do next? For a long time, it's been very obvious what should happen next. Right now, it's a little bit less obvious. And I should probably ask the question, if I were to put this in somebody's hands because I actually do have people who want to use it. It's just not ready yet. If I were to put this in somebody's hands, would there be any reason why they couldn't use it? And if so, what would those reasons be?
We've talked about uh, taking the latency out of when you start the test and the test actually starts running.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a nice to have, I feel like. You can live without it.
Yeah, it's not a job stopper.
Yeah. Um, One thing that does come to mind is billing. If I let somebody use this, I don't have any way for them to pay me. And it could, in theory, be as simple as like we set up a Stripe subscription and their credit card just gets hit once a month. Um, but I don't know if it's quite that simple because this is kind of a metered billing type thing. I
That's what I
don't
was going
know.
to ask. Is this a flat X dollars per month, or is this a X dollars per minute?
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be the latter because it's not it's not fair otherwise.
You do by minute though, then that latency thing may be a showstopper.
Yeah, that's not fair either. Um, yeah, but that's like okay, that will like overcharge people a little, or maybe I can just eat that and I don't care. Um, with the other one, like the flat monthly fee, I just couldn't afford that. Like people would be using it and potentially, if they run up a $100 bill and then I'm charging them $50, then obviously that doesn't work. If my if my VM cost is like $100 a month. So that's at least workable. So I think I might do that. And so the question is, how do you figure out how much to charge somebody?
Well, you've got for each one of those builds, 3 minutes and 33 seconds, 3 minutes, 32 seconds. You can add that up for the month.
Yeah, although it's not quite that simple, it's more like the sum of the job runtimes.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't add all that much more complexity. And let me see real quick. Do I have like that stuff in there? Um, Yikes, that's a lot of stuff. Um, okay, I have created at and updated at job.job events. Job finished. Yeah. Oh, and can I do job.duration? Do I have such a thing? Oh, I do. Okay. I assume that's in seconds. Yeah. Okay. So I could do like, I'll just do this really quick. Um, build equals job.build, build dot map. No. Builds dot jobs dot sum job dot oh, actually I can do this. Duration. Yeah. Man, isn't Ruby just really nice sometimes? Okay, so this was like that many minutes. So this most recent build took 3 minutes and 16 seconds to run, but the total amount of time that took due to the parallelism was, just under 7 minutes. So I figured that would be a $700 build. Um, that's another thing. Like I don't know how to figure my VM costs, but that's a figure outable thing. Okay, having said all that, how do we charge somebody? I guess we add a Stripe integration. And so at the end of the month, let's say, we sum up all of the jobs and bill the customer's credit card for that much. Does that seem reasonable?
That's
Yeah.
pretty much along the lines what Skylight does with their monitoring stuff.
Uh-huh. And I guess for transparency, I'm gonna want like a billing page where you can see all your stuff. So it's not a mystery why you're getting charged what you're getting charged.
Yeah,
Um,
like
yeah.
something sends out a PDF of a invoice type thing.
Yeah. And maybe I'll do that page first because that'll be helpful for me as well. Okay. Yeah, that'll be the next thing after fixing this bug is having a page where you can see your billing details. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for helping me think through that, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Take care.